Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Something is happening, and it's too sweet to ignore. Is Liu Yuning just being kind to Song Zuer, or is he slowly revealing himself as her actual boyfriend? Fans around the world are buzzing, clips are going viral, and now people are asking one thing. Backhand index pointing right. Is it finally official? Let's take a closer look at what has everyone's heart racing. It was a quiet moment on set. One of those rare in-between times when the cameras aren't rolling and actors step out of their roles. Song Zuer sat to the side, not speaking much. Her body language seemed subdued, perhaps from exhaustion or the weight of long shooting hours. But what truly caught everyone's attention wasn't her silence. It was Liu Yuning's reaction. Without hesitation, he approached her, not as a co-star following a script, but as someone tuned into her unspoken needs. He noticed her shivering slightly and almost instinctively took off his jacket and placed it around her shoulders. There were no words exchanged. It wasn't grand or performative. In fact, it might have gone unnoticed, if not for the intensity of the gesture. What made that moment unforgettable wasn't just the action itself, but the energy surrounding it. The way he looked at her, the softness in his expression, and the stillness of the space between them, it all felt deeply personal. As if, in that quiet gesture, an entire conversation had passed between them that no one else could hear. Fans who saw the clip online were quick to respond. Many said it didn't feel like acting at all. Instead, it felt like watching a man quietly, naturally express care for someone he deeply values. That single moment, genuine, unguarded, and full of warmth, sparked an outpouring of emotion across social media. And in that scene, however brief, many saw what looked like the beginning of something real. Not just chemistry, not just kindness, but perhaps the first visible thread of a love that had already been quietly growing behind the scenes. Long before the viral clips, there were subtle signs, scattered across interviews, woven into casual conversations, that hinted at something more between Liu Yuning and Song Zuer. At first, these moments seemed like nothing more than typical press responses, but when placed side by side, they began to reveal a deeper story. In one interview, Liu Yuning was asked to describe the kind of woman who captured his heart. His answer was disarmingly honest. Someone gentle, a bit playful, with a quiet strength. A person who didn't need to speak loudly to be understood. He said he was drawn to someone who could make him feel calm in a chaotic world. The words might have passed without much thought, if they hadn't so perfectly mirrored the way Song Zuer carries herself. Her calm presence, her subtle smile, her ability to be graceful without ever trying too hard. It all felt too aligned to be coincidence. Later, Song Zuer was asked what kind of support she values most in her life. She paused for a moment, then softly replied, "There's someone who always makes sure I'm okay, even when I don't ask for help. I never have to say a word. He just knows." She didn't name anyone. She didn't need to. Together, these statements began to paint a picture. Not one of fireworks or loud declarations, but of quiet loyalty, of mutual understanding, of something growing slowly beneath the surface. Fans didn't need confirmation. For them, these words weren't just vague reflections. They were glimpses into something real, something intimate. It felt like the kind of connection that doesn't need to be shown off because it already runs deep. And maybe that's what makes it all the more powerful. Sometimes, love reveals itself not in confessions, but in quiet words carefully placed between the lines. For those who have followed Liu Yuning and Song Zuer closely, their public interviews have become a treasure hunt for hidden meanings, clues wrapped in honesty, subtle yet impossible to ignore. In one such interview, Liu Yuning was asked to describe the kind of woman who could truly move his heart. He didn't mention appearances, nor did he speak in cliches. Instead, he described a presence, someone who is calm, sincere, and quietly bright. A woman who doesn't need to demand attention, but naturally brings peace to the space she enters. His voice softened as he spoke, as if the image already lived vividly in his mind. And for many fans there was no doubt. He was speaking from experience, not imagination. Around the same time, Song Zuer, in a separate conversation, was asked about what made her feel most protected in life. She smiled gently and replied, "There's someone I'm close to. He doesn't ask if I'm okay. He just knows when something's off. And he always shows up when I need support, even in silence." There were no names, no details, but there was warmth in her tone, a kind of peace that doesn't come from rehearsed answers, but from something real. What made these moments resonate wasn't just what was said, but the emotion behind the words. Together, their responses formed a quiet dialogue, two hearts speaking across space and time, telling a story without needing to admit a thing. For fans, it became clear. Something deeper exists between them. And perhaps this silent honesty, more than any public statement, was the most sincere proof of all. Even in silence, the body speaks, and often more honestly than words ever could. When Liu Yuning and Song Zuer appear together, they rarely say anything that would draw attention to their closeness. There are no overt displays, no hand-holding, no declarations of affection. Yet, for those who are watching closely, the truth is unmistakable. It lives in the subtle movements, the small moments most might overlook, but which say everything. Liu Yuning's gaze often lingers a fraction longer than necessary. He doesn't just look at Song Zuer. He watches her, carefully, attentively, as if quietly reading her mood before she even speaks. When she laughs, his face softens. When she's quiet, he subtly shifts closer, as though offering silent reassurance. It's in the way he positions himself. Never in front, never behind, but always just slightly to the side. Ready to step in if needed, but never overstepping. That gentle balance is not learned, it's felt. Song Zuer, in turn, seems entirely at ease in his presence. There's a quiet trust in how she leans toward him when they speak, how her eyes find his first when something surprising happens around them. She doesn't need to perform. Her comfort beside him speaks volumes. Together, they move like two people who are deeply familiar with each other's rhythms. It is this naturalness, this effortless coordination, that fans have come to recognize as something more than friendship. There's an intimacy in their body language that can't be staged. It doesn't seek attention, which is perhaps why it feels so genuine. In a world where so much is curated and rehearsed, their unspoken connection stands out. A kind of quiet choreography born from affection, understanding, and something that just might be love. Just when the conversation around Liu Yuning and Song Zuer seemed to be settling, new moments surfaced, quiet, tender glimpses that reignited the whispers and deepened the belief that something genuine lives between them. These weren't dramatic scenes crafted for attention, but rather fleeting snapshots of real connection, captured unexpectedly and shared by fans who noticed what others might miss. One such moment occurred during a routine break in filming. Song Zuer was adjusting her costume, slightly struggling with a hair accessory. Liu Yuning, standing nearby, noticed immediately. Without being asked, he stepped forward and reached out gently to fix the clip, his hands careful, his focus entirely on her. There was no hesitation, no performance, just an unspoken awareness, the kind that comes only when someone truly sees the other. Another clip showed them walking side by side, surrounded by staff and cameras. But in the noise and movement, Liu Yuning subtly slowed his pace to match hers. When a sudden gust of wind blew her scarf loose, he instinctively reached out to catch it, his motion so natural it barely registered until fans replayed it in slow motion. It wasn't the act itself that stirred people, it was the ease, the quiet familiarity of it. Fans flooded social media with reactions. They didn't need grand gestures to be convinced. These small details spoke louder than any words. A protective glance, a shared smile, a hand reaching out without being asked. These are the kind of moments that aren't rehearsed because they come from something real. In the end, what's most striking isn't what they say or do in public. It's what they reveal in the pauses between. And it's in those unscripted seconds that a quiet love story continues to unfold, frame by frame, moment by moment. This isn't about gossip. It's about how love can bloom. Gently, respectfully, naturally. Not all relationships need loud declarations. Sometimes the purest connections are built in small acts of care, in shared glances, in silent understanding. This story reminds us that real love doesn't have to be loud. Just has to be true. So what do you think? Are Liu Yuning and Song Zuer already in love, just keeping it between them? Or are they still just friends who happen to have incredible chemistry? Let us know in the comments. Backhand index pointing down, backhand index pointing down, backhand index pointing in. Your thoughts mean everything. Speech balloon. And hey, if you love stories like this, don't forget to heavy check mark, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, like this video, bell, hit the bell so you never miss a moment. Movie camera, and share this video with someone who believes in soft, quiet, beautiful love. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay kind, and we'll see you in the next one. Sparkles, love you all. Sparkles.